Good day all. My name is Valentina Moskalenko. I am a professor of the Department of Software Engineering and Management Intelligence Technology and of the Department of Information Systems and Technologies of the National Technical University Kharkiv Polytechnic Institute. Today I was privileged to present the results of our research on the value of shares prediction in an unstable economy using neural networks. An important condition for the stable development of any national economy is the stock market. The presence of a developed stock market provides corporations with great opportunities to raise share capital and creates conditions for their further development. However, in the order for the domestic stock market to be able to accumulate investors, it has to comply with the principle of the information transparency, create conditions for compliance with corporate governance standards, be predictable. The ability to predict stock market movements is one of the factors that makes stocks an attractive financial instrument for investors. Investors then begin to use stocks not only as a means of gaining control of the company, but also to manage risk, save savings, and generate investment income. Problems to be solved when investing financially. The problem of accuracy for price forecasting is relevant for all speculators in the stock market. The choice of methods for forecasting the market value of shares in an unstable economy. Using forecasting research methods based on time series analysis, that is what is happening in assessing the effectiveness of complex atomic models compared to basic models. Extensive research has also been done in countries with stable economies. The study of prospects and features of the use for methods developed in world practice for forecasting the market value of shares in countries where stock markets are in the process of formation and development, for example in Ukraine, becomes particularly relevant. This work deals with study of the neural network using with different architecture to predict the market value of shares in the stock markets of countries that are in the process of formation and development. There are many software products and services on the IT market for predicting the market value of shares and other exchange commodities, for example, FinGrain, I Know First, Dano Capital, Stocks Neuro. Based on the analysis of existing services, it can be concluded that the proposals differ in the final type of forecasts and interface, but all options have a similar set of disadvantages. There aren't shares of Ukrainian companies, limited set of stocks available for forecasting, high entry threshold, lack of clear user manual. All services are available only with a paid subscription, high cost. There is no possibility of forecast segregation, which complicates the integration into the daily work of the investor user of the service. Designing the architecture of the neural network to predict the market value of shares. The following neural networks were selected for experimental studies. A network having a fully connected network structure with 4 layers. The architecture combines 2 layers of the long short-term memory, LSTM, class with 2 layers of the dense class. This architecture is relatively simple and is a good start for solving time series problems. Convolutional neural network, CNN, is used to solve classification problems. The proposed architecture was adapted to perform regression by replacing the softmax layer with a fully connected layer consisting of a single neuron. CNN LSTM is a hybrid model that combines 2 different neural network architectures. The number of neurons in the LSTM and the fully connected layer is implemented to 156. VMD-LSTM is a hybrid model consisting of a classical machine learning algorithm and a neural network. The development was carried out in the Python programming language version 3.8 using the libraries InvestPy, Pandas, NumPy, Scikit-learn, Keras, Matplotlib, and VMDPy. To compare the forecast quality of different models, 4 shares of the Ukrainian stock market were selected. Tsentrenergo, CEEN, Ukrtelecom, UTLM, Kriukivs'kyi Vahonobudivnyi Zavod, KVBZ, Raiff Bank Aval. The market price of a stock can change very rapidly. That is why fresh data are needed for more accurate forecasting. In this study, this was achieved by importing and downloading prices from the API. The Invest library was used for this purpose. Due to this library, prices for the period from January 10th, 2010 to the current date, February 12th, 2022, were obtained. In order to be able to test the models, the data set must be divided into two parts, 80% data for training and 20% test data. To improve the work with the data, it was normalized with min-max scalar in the range from 0 to 1. Next, training data has been created based on which the neural network should be trained. To do this, several slices of training data, X-train, the so-called mini packages, were formed. In the learning process, the neural network sequentially processes the mini packets and creates a separate forecast for each mini package. Neural networks learn in several iterations. The prediction error is reduced by regulating the strength of the connection between neurons, weight, according to a certain algorithm. The model needs a second list, Y-train, to assess the quality of the forecast, which contains the actual price values. During training, the model compares forecasts with real data and calculates learning error to minimize it over time. In order to comprehensively assess the forecast quality of each model, the following metrics will be calculated. MAE, median absolute error, MAPE, mean absolute percentage error, MDAPE, median absolute percentage error. At the first stage of the research, the LSTM network was trained and forecasts for the months of 2022 for the market value of shares available on the Ukrainian Stock Exchange were obtained. CEEN, UTLM, KVBZ, BAVL. Figures show that the LSTM network does not always accurately predict the price of shares. This is especially noticeable in the UTLM stock, figure 4. Forecast data for UTLM and KVBZ indicates that it is impossible to apply this method in case of sharp and significant market fluctuations. Therefore, this neural network is not advisable to be used for the Ukrainian stock market. In the second stage of the study, the CNN network was trained and forecasts for the months of 2022 for the market value of shares were obtained. As it can be observed, the CNN network also showed not very good results. It can be seen a big difference between the gray and the orange zone, real and predicted data. CNN network has the same as LSTM weak side. In the case of sharp jumps both down and up, the forecast error increases greatly. In the third stage of the study, the CNN LSTM hybrid model network was trained and forecasts for the months of 2022 for the market value of shares were obtained. The hybrid network CNN LSTM proved to be worse than CNN and LSTM separately. Significant forecast error exists even in the absence of sharp changes in the share price. MAPE from 9.7 to 17.4 indicates the impossibility of using in real life and the high probability of financial losses due to a false forecast. At the fourth stage of the study, the network of the hybrid model, VMD-LSTM, was trained and forecasts for the months of 2022 for market value of shares were obtained. Figures show that the predicted cost is as close as possible to the real data. The low level of errors indicates the possibility of using this model in real conditions. Analyzing these figures, we can conclude that the most preferred network for the Ukrainian market is VMD-LSTM. It shows the smallest deviation of the predicted data from the real ones. Conclusion. Research of prospects and peculiarities of using the methods of forecasting the market value of shares develops in the world practice in Ukraine, where stock markets are in the process of formation and development. the analysis of scientific sources on modeling the behavior of stock market participants and solving the problem of forecasting using artificial neural networks are carried out. The task of predicting the market value of shares on the stock exchange of Ukraine is solved for planning the investment activity of a company in the strategic period. The most preferred network for the Ukrainian market is VMD-LSTM. Investment activity is considered from the point of view of the direction for company development. The future research will focus on to continue research on the choice of neural network architecture for forecasting the market value of shares on the Ukrainian stock market. Develop a software system for forecasting the market value of shares. Thank you for your attention.